So I'm back. So shout out to all the Scorpios out there. It's y'all season still. So like I've been doing with every zodiac sign, I want to give a breakdown of Scorpios, my experiences, and my thoughts on Scorpios. So as you can see from the title, Scorpio is usually associated with all of the negative things when it comes to astrology. Scorpio is associated with being dark and mysterious. So if there was a villain to astrology, it would probably be Scorpio or Capricorn, because we know Capricorn is the devil card. But yeah, so every we know that Scorpios get associated with being jealous and revengeful and intense. So they kind of get a bad rep when it comes to astrology. But I'm gonna tell you all of the good things about Scorpio because every zodiac sign has good things and bad things about them, of course. So well, before I get into my experiences with Scorpios, I'm gonna give a general breakdown of Scorpio. So we know that Scorpio ruled by Pluto, the sign of death and transformation. So a lot of Scorpios is big into taboo things. Even if you look at a lot of people with Mercury and Scorpio, 'cause we know Mercury is your communication style. So look at like an Eminem whose music is dark and taboo, or even an NBA YoungBoy music whose music is dark and intense. So that's what Scorpios is all about. It's about being dark and intense, and then they can be into a lot of dark type of things, whether it's maybe like you like a lot of Scorpio could be bigger to like stuff like porn, maybe, or like shows about death, like just kind of like different type of things, like mysterious type of things they can love. The detective shows. Matter of fact, I think the creator of Law and Order it is a Scorpio, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. So stuff like that, we know that Scorpios get associated with and that they love. And we know that they a water sign like Pisces and Cancer. So they dealing with emotions and they're a fixed sign. So that means that they're fixed on their emotions. Scorpios is try to keep their emotions in control and care more so about their emotions than other people's emotions. That's why they can come off as manipulative versus a Pisces who's mutable. So Pisces is more likely to care about your feelings, care about how you think, pick up on your energy versus a Scorpio that's more so fixated on how it feels. It doesn't really care how you feel a lot of times. So that's some general basics about the Scorpio. Then we know that Scorpio is represented by the scorpion because it sting you. We know that Scorpio is the bigger to getting revenge. You look at a lot of Scorpios like a Lil Boosie or Diddy, who chart I just did, Ike Turner, even I forgot her name, the girl who be beating up everybody, that be on Love and Hip Hop and stuff like that. It's on the tip of my tongue. I forgot it. She is Scorpio, but yeah, so Scorpios a lot of times get associated with being like can't being jealous and possessive, really emotional. A lot of Scorpios definitely are emotional and they wear it on their sleeve, kind of like Aries, because Scorpio used to be ruled by Mars just like Aries is. So we know Mars is the planet of aggression. So Aries is more so outward aggression. Scorpios is more so inward aggression. So basically, in another way, like Aries is going to be more physically aggressive. Scorpios is going to be more emotionally aggressive and more so with their words than actually being physical. But when we know when it comes to Diddy and Ike Turner, they can be physical also. So that's another thing about Scorpio. But on the positive side, when it comes to Scorpio, like I always say, Scorpio is one of the most given signs. You could say one of the biggest tricks. Shout out the Future and Drake, but uh, a lot of Scorpios will give you the shirt off their back. Like I had a friend who was a Scorpio for over 10 years, and he helped me more than any other friend that I ever had. I can admit that. Like he would, if I needed something, he was the only friend I could really depend on. So they definitely giving, they definitely will help you, they definitely loyal, not loyal. Could I always say there's two type of loyalty. There's the loyalty of cheating that a lot of people think. but there's also the loyalty of sticking by you no matter what and being there for you. That's the other type of loyalty versus just the relationship loyalty. So they're the ones that will be there for you. They can be a loyal friend. They can be there for you when you need them. Then a lot of Scorpios are smart, 'cause like I always say, in astrology, they say that Aquarius and Scorpios the two smartest signs. And when you look at it, it comes true when you look at a lot of the Scorpios and Aquarius. But for example, we know Bill Gates is a Scorpio. So, and then there's a lot of other like businessmen Scorpios and a lot of like hardworking Scorpios who make money. A lot of Scorpios, because I'm big into money. You know, maybe it's my Capricorn Mercury, but Scorpios is one of the top five signs when it comes to making money and having their stuff together. I know a lot of Scorpios who make money and know how to get money and well off, per se. So that's on the positives about Scorpios is that they are giving people, they give you the shirt off their back, they loyal to their family. A lot of Scorpios make great fathers that I know. Versus like, a lot of other signs who might not take care of their kids. A lot of Scorpios definitely gonna be there for their kids. So that's my general breakdown of Scorpios. Not getting into my experiences with Scorpios. So just so happened my first three exes was all Scorpios. I know it's kind of crazy. So my longest relationship was actually with my first. We was together like 2.5, 3 years straight, no breaking up. Because we know people be together 5, 10, 20 years, but they be off and on. We was together for almost 3 years straight. So from 10th grade to 12th grade to graduation. So we kind of got hooked up on a blind date, like, because this is I'm showing my age. This is before the cell phones was really big. Like we had cell phones, but it wasn't like it is today when you could just FaceTime. There wasn't no FaceTime and video calling. That was a wrap. But you could send people pictures and stuff like that. So my cousin ended up hooking us up because he was talking to her cousin and she was with her cousin and he was with me. So we ended up getting hooked up. So we ended up having our relationship. We both of each other first. Um and everything, first love, first lost our virginity to each other and everything like that. So yeah, I don't know what her moon and the rest of her chart was because it's been so long, but I can say the stuff that she showed with the Scorpio is that one thing about Scorpio women and getting into just the other two Scorpio women that I talked to is that a lot of them are, like I always say, a lot of them, like you look at like even Sierra or Jocelyn, that's what I was thinking of earlier when I was trying to think of the female who always beating up people. It was Jocelyn off well, she got her own show. And then she on that Zeus Network type stuff. So she's a perfect example of like they have a lot of masculine energy. They got a lot of real like boss babe, boss bitch energy. Scorpio women do. They act like men a lot, so a lot of them want to be about getting money and trying to even show men up and think that they can do what a man do. Like it's a lot like I guess like Scorpio would kind of fall more so into a masculine sign, even though it is a water sign, and like Pisces and Cancer are more feminine and they do better as women. Scorpio kind of do better as men because, like I always say, certain signs just because of the traits, some do better as men, some do better as women. Like Sagittarius do better as men because it's a zodiac sign about being free and wild and sleeping around and just being out there. That works better for a man than it does a woman. Same for my sign, the Aquarius. That's why we say it's a problem with Aquarius women because it's kind of okay for a man to be overly logical and unemotional like a Aquarius, but that kind of don't work for women when it comes to not being emotional and being cold. You get what I'm saying? So that's what kind of happened with Scorpio women is that they definitely have a lot of masculine type of energy. Lot, but they are good when it comes to like attraction. Like a Scorpio woman can know how to attract you like no other with their mysteriousness, and they can make you really, they can really draw you in for real. Like it could be an average looking Scorpio woman, but she knows how to draw men in. And that's what I notice about a lot of Scorpio women, like the ones that I did dealt with. Like they got like this type of aura, and it could be from the way that they dress or talk that draws me in. So you got to be careful with that because again, they're Scorpio, so they're secretive. They, they can be players, they can be manipulative, which I've seen before. Because two out of the three uh was, well, I guess only my first would, it would be considered actually cheating because we was actually together. But the other one too, well, she had an ex-boyfriend. That's another subject, another story for another day. But anyway, so being sneaky, like hiding stuff in their phone, hiding little stuff, I definitely see that before. And the girl I was actually talking to, who ex was a Scorpio, she told me how he had a whole nother phone hidden in his glove box. He had a lock on his glove box in his car, which I don't even know too many people who got that. And there was another phone in there that he was talking to other girls in. So that's some of the stuff that Scorpios do. Like they said, that Scorpios is gonna take the extra steps to prevent them from getting caught. Like they could be the ones who have a whole what's it called, a safe browser, or a whole hidden browser, or a whole hidden section on their computer of stuff. It's like they not the ones that's gonna be more out in the open like some other signs is. So I definitely noticed that. Definitely noticed that all three, again, just like the my Scorpio friend was given, my first ex, bought me stuff for my birthday, Christmas, stuff here and there. Um, all three really did. Like, would chip in, would help, like wasn't stingy for sure. So that's getting back into my point that they definitely will help you. They definitely, the women, just like the men, will get to the money and, play their part and do what they have to do. Now, also with the Scorpio one getting into, I guess, why it didn't end up working or end up breaking up is that we'll get to, like I said, a lot of Scorpio women, you have to be careful with. They have a type of energy, like I said, to where they kind of would prefer to deal with like a more, what's the word, like non-masculine men, like a non like a more passive type of dude that they can kind of control. Because we know Scorpio's about control. Because that's another thing. Why actually getting into why me and my Scorpio friend of 10 years, we fell out and we didn't talk in years, despite us being friends, living together, helping each other and everything. Because I just couldn't deal with the intense emotions. So that can happen a lot with the women too. Is that they could just be too much to deal with. Like when it comes to like the emotions and being intense and just like, like being too much, you could clash a lot. Like that's why I know it'd be hard for a Scorpio to deal with another Scorpio, or like a Scorpio and Aries. Cause I know a couples who was Scorpio and Aries, and the sex, they always said the sex was good, but they can never click like that. They would always butt heads because of Scorpio need to be in control. And that's why I always fell out and it didn't work with the Scorpio girls I talked to and my Scorpio friend, because my Scorpio friend always wanted to be the boss of something. Like we had a fantasy football league. He had to run that. He had to control that. Every job he had to be a manager, or he was one of the workers who act like a manager. That's another thing I noticed about the couple Scorpios that I didn't work with. Like they will try to be the manager without trying to be the manager. Literally, I swear. Like, and then if you got a Scorpio manager, you gonna know that they a Scorpio manager, like for sure, because they have to be in control of everything. They have to know what's going on with everything. So, and we know because they natural detectives. So a lot of Scorpios, like that's where the clash at. Then me being Aquarius, we rebellious. We the sign that literally can't be controlled. That's a Sagittarius and probably Aries. So it's just not gonna work. And that's why we was cooked here, because you always be trying to tell me what to do. And I'm like, my own mama don't tell me what to do. You crazy? You think you about to tell me what to do? So it's always that kind of power trip that I experience with them. And then even the women, the power trip, and then like I said, Scorpios is a smart sign. So that's where the manipulation come in, and they can easily get over. Like, I can just imagine like a Scorpio with a Pisces, like Lord, like they gonna try to manipulate and run circles around a Pisces, or even maybe a Cancer or a Taurus. But certain signs like Aquarius for sure, who just as smart as them, or signs like the fire signs who kind of like to see through stuff, or even like certain signs like the Capricorn, because we know Capricorns, they have to see to believe. They don't really believe in anything, and then we know Virgos analyze everything. So it's certain signs they can get over more on others, but for sure they try to, definitely get over on you, and then they try to study you, know everything about you. So they know your weaknesses and everything, like, classic technical type of stuff is what Scorpios is into. So Scorpios are definitely interesting sign, for sure. They is the sign of sex. So getting into my three exes, yeah, I mean, they was some freaks. I'm just gonna say it. They definitely was some freaks. And the third one that I dealt with, but see, she was my type, so that kind of just added on to it. But that was some of the, she probably still in the top five to this day. Girls, females that I had sex with for sure. So, and then even then it was my first. So it's like really don't have nothing to compare your first two, but you know for then it was good to me for sure. But so yeah, they can be good when it comes to sex. That's why Scorpios can date around and deal with a lot of people because of that. But then Scorpios can also be a sign of, like, a sign that you can only deal with for sex. Like, in terms of being in a relationship, it could be too much. So you just deal with them on a sexual basis. That's how I know, like, the Aries who dealt with Scorpios, that's the same thing they would say, and even the Sagittarius. So, the fire and water relationships can be tricky because we dealing with two feelings, but one emotional and one is more, fiery. So that can go completely right or completely left. So uh, what else about Scorpios do I want to end it with? So, like I always say, so the five positive traits of Scorpios, they a giving sign, they're a smart sign, they a hard working sign, they a loyal sign in terms of like friendships, and they a be there for you if you need them. Definitely a loyal friend. And then what else? Five. They can be, well, they rule sex, so they can be good and bad, or a lot of Scorpio women is attractive. Getting into the five negatives about Scorpio. One, they can be too intense and too much for people. Like, there's too much to deal with. They can be controlling. Look, shout out to Diddy, but a lot of Scorpios like that. They have to be in control of everything. They have to know everything. Three, they can definitely be manipulative and sneaky. Four, they still a water sign, so they definitely can be emotional, even though they don't like to show it because of they like to they like to appear that they're in control of their emotions, but they still a water sign. And all water signs you have to watch, with least is to number five, that they were vengeful and jealous. So you have to be careful with the Scorpio. You cheat on the Scorpio, you do a Scorpio dirty. There's a lot of Scorpios who then got people killed. Classic Scorpio like Lil Boosie putting hits on people, and a lot of Scorpios. eh, I'm trying to think of another one too, but even look at all the stuff Diddy did. Diddy did like a lot of Scorpios. Then, like I said, Ike Turner. So there is some Scorpios that can be abusive. Like I said, controlling, abusive, dark, manipulative. That is a lot. A lot of Scorpios can show them traits for real, and know some deadly traits. But I'm out. Shout out to all of the Scorpios. Enjoy your season.